Today we're going to look at potential reprints that could be going into Modern Horizons 3, the ones that we want to see. So nothing necessarily that is realistic, but cards that we would like printed into Modern. I would like to start off with Blue Elemental Blast. This thing would blast the stupid red cards to the next, I don't know, back 2 centuries. Blue Elemental Blast is a blue instant. Choose one. Counter target red spell, or destroy target red permanent. That's right, Soulscar Mage. Monastery Swift Spear. I don't know, what else can I hit with this thing? I don't have to hit... Like, the thing is, I can counter the red spells, but I can also blow up the stupid fast red creatures, the Sprite Dragons, and so on. Let's see, what formats have access to this card? Legacy, Pauper, not Modern. I think this is of a Modern power level type of card, and I would like to have access to the damn thing. It's been around since beta. It can't be broken. Now, mind you, you know you have to have one without the you have one without the other. Hey, I'm fine with the exchange. If I get Blue Elemental Blast, they can have Red Elemental Blast. I'm fine with that. That's all fair game. Because frankly, as someone who plays Merfolk, everything gets blown across the battlefield anyway. It's all just one mana destroy everything. Almond with Carpet of Flowers. Is that reserved list? Not reserved list, but also a really good... So even if they brought that into Modern, it would also be a very nice reprint, maybe for some of the Commander players. So this is an interesting one to punish the blue decks. We have a green enchantment during your main phase. So this is not even... I don't think this is correctly worded. Let's go to the ancient scripture is all wrong on Carpet of Flowers. How it really works is for 1 green, it's an enchantment at the beginning of each of your main phases. Not your main phase, each of your main phases. If you hadn't added mana with this ability this turn, you may add X mana of any one color where X is the number of islands target opponent controls. It's interesting. How did it get changed that you could add mana at any main phase? So it's like, during your main phase, you may add up to X mana of one color to your mana pool, where X is the number of islands target opponent controls. The original wording just sounds like you have to do it during your first main phase. Right? The main phase that you hit first, that's when you get the mana. You can't wait to the second main phase to use it later. Anyway, it's an incredible card. Huge beating on the blue decks, alright? So, all those greedy mana bases from the Omnath decks to control decks, screw them! It'll also screw me too a little bit. I gotta lean a little bit harder on Cavern Souls and Ottawa and so on. So you get to add mana. So you get to add mana during both main phases? God, no, that's not how this works. X-nay both main phase A. Only one. Only one allowed. Beanpot. Oath of Druids would be fair in Modern, I think. What? Oath of Druids? I don't think so. I think it'd be just as broken. I think it'd be equally as broken in Modern as it's broken in Legacy and Vintage. This card is banned in Legacy, for crying out loud, and is like one of the top tier decks in Vintage. 2-mana enchantment. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player chooses target player who controls more creatures than... Okay, I need to read the... It's like, at the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player chooses a target player who controls more creatures than they do, and is their opponent. The first player may reveal cards on the top of their library until they reveal a creature card. If the first player does, that player puts that card onto the battlefield, and all other cards revealed this way into the graveyard. In fact, if you have more creatures than me, I flip over cards in my deck till I hit a creature card, and then you're not going to be happy. I'll put like a Troxa in play right now. That's like the prime thing to get in play with the Oath of Druids. You use that. How good is this in Commander? Remember, Modern Horizons 3, this is Commander Masters, people. They're going to make new cards, busted for Commander, going straight into Modern. So you guys can unlock your imagination. It's really a Commander set, not a Modern set. Abe getting aggressive here. Wants Ancient Tomb in Modern when Wasteland doesn't even exist. Abe, have we lost our damn minds? Maybe it's okay. I mean, you look at the Amulet deck, they basically have access to Ancient Tomb, and we live with it anyway. So we have a land, tap, add double colorless, Ancient Tomb deals 2 damage to you. You don't like the 2 damage, but you do like the 2 mana. You have to think of things on the good side. This would probably boost up Eldrazi Tron by quite a bit because now they have more soul lands in order to get like a turn 2 Thought-Knot Seer in play. This would probably improve... Not sure what else it would improve. Definitely will help somebody. It's a soul land! It's basically... This is like the closest we would have to Soul Ring in Modern if that existed. Okay, first super chat of the day coming straight from J-Hogue! Decree Cycle, like the Decree of Silence. I've heard of these cards. Is this not Modern legal? Oh, it's not! You're totally right. So for a blue-blue 6 generic, we have an enchantment. Whenever an opponent plays a spell, counter that spell and put a depletion counter on Decree of Silence. If there are 3 or more depletion counters on Decree of Silence, you must sacrifice it. Also, you can cycle it for 6 mana. Now, when you cycle a Decree of Silence, you may counter target spell. That is so bizarre. So we keep... So while it's in play, we counter things over and over again. You play something, I counter it. It's like it absorbs it. You play something, I counter it. You play something, I counter it. Or for 6 mana, I can counter it. This is perfectly Modern playable. Or like fair. Or, you know, it's not going to break anything. Damping Matrix. That's legal. You want to play that in Modern? That is a Modern legal card, Larry Law. By all means, I have some good news for you. 100% legal. Buy them while you can. It's 50 cents. You don't even need that printed directly into Modern. Okay, Tommy Siddons with Concordant Crossroads. Concordant Crossroads, a green world enchantment. All creatures have haste. That would be an interesting inclusion. Not to mention, I'm sure a lot of Commander players would like to see that reprint, make it a little bit cheaper. It's only a 1 mana green card, but it gives all your creatures haste. Your mana dorks tap for mana immediately. Basically, it turns your mana dorks immediately into, like, the artifact ramp. It turns them into, well, I can't say, I don't want to call them, like, Moxen, because there's no, like, there's no mana dorks that cost 0 mana. Alright, next super chat we got coming straight from Bryce. The complete Battleland set, Prairie Stream. Hold on. What are you talking about? So, okay, we need to define something here. If I understand correctly, Modern Horizons is not going to reprint any cards that are already legal in Modern. I think, I could be wrong. Maybe I don't understand correctly, but this is a Modern legal card. Like, you can play this in Modern already. Why would you need more? This is literally 13 cents. Or did you give me the wrong example? But these are the Battlelands, if I remember. I don't remember why they're called Battlelands. But they are Battlelands already. So if you want that thing, alright, it exists. Okay, let's get something spicy. I saw, what was it? As an infect player, give me Invigorate. Excellent suggestion. Now, this is a green 2 generic instant. If you control a forest, rather than pay the spell's mana cost, you can have an opponent gain 3 life. Where's the 3? Where's 3 life? Oh, there we go. Target creature gets +4/+4 until end of turn. So the idea is you throw this in an Infect deck. The Infect, by the way, is just stone cold, like, dead. It's in a lot of trouble, alright? Red and 6 Bowmasters, not very kind to the Infect creatures. The Infect insects, very soft, crunchy legs, very easy to snipe off, and they're screwed. Anyway, this would be a huge boost to that deck because it would give them a little bit more opportunity to kill you in 2 turns. And like if it turn 1, Glistener Elf, turn 2, double Invigorate with, I don't know, another pump spell and it's over. Is the soundproof in the background squishy or hard? It's squishy! Very squish. There you go. Hope I satisfied your curiosity. It's foam. Mr. Very Smart. With all the power creep, they might as well go for it. Black Lotus! Black Lotus is on the reserved list. It's not going to get reprinted. Next super chat from J Hogue. Thank you so much for your super chat. Also, elemental graveyard cycle like Anger. Is this also not in Modern? Well, I'll be damned. This is not a Modern legal card. The 4-mana 2/2 with haste. But as long as it's in your graveyard and you control mountain creatures you control have haste. There might be a place for this in like the dredge decks. So, but a lot of those dredge cards come into play tapped. But if you can build a deck that has creatures that don't come into play tapped, they come onto the battlefield and immediately you're going to be, they're going to say 3, 2, 1, go, and it's over. Madra already excited about the idea of Anger being in Modern. Only the idea. Okay, next up, let's take Swords to Plowshares. Why not? We already have Solitude. No, correction, we already have Leyline Binding. Leyline Binding, I think... Okay, I might be wrong. Leyline Binding might be more popular than Swords to Plowshares in, like, Legacy. And it's certainly, like, Leyline Binding is above and beyond the most popular removal spell in Modern. Because it hits everything. It's basically a 1-mana creature removal, but it hits the artifacts, the enchantments, the planeswalkers. You know, your imagination cannot just stop at removing creatures. You must remove everything. Not to mention, it's really hard to get rid of a Leyline Binding. So it's effectively the same damn thing. The only difference is they don't gain life, which is actually a benefit. Leyline Binding isn't going to give people life, which is, you know, it can matter. It can matter. Next super chat we got from Majra. Speaking of Commander, my very hot take would be to make everything made for EDH since 2013 be legal in Modern. Also, let the Modern player base have fun. How do we feel about that? Every Commander card legal in Modern since 2013. So we get True Name Nemesis. We would get... What do we get out of that? True Name Nemesis, if that's... Okay. Scruffle doesn't know what that is. True Name Nemesis. I don't know if this would... So we get True Name Nemesis. What do we get? What's that banned Sultai Commander card? I can't remember. It's like an elf. You target it, and then you draw... if anyone targets you with their stuff, you draw a card. Some of that effect. How does that work with, like, Bowmasters? Leovold, yeah. Leovold. How do we feel about Leovold in Modern? Anything can happen, by the way. Anything can happen. They've surprised us many times before. Yeah, Leovold Emissary of Trest. This thing in Mod. It says, each opponent can draw more than one card each turn, but not you. And then whenever you or a permanent you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, you may draw a card. So get this. Bowmasters shoots Leovold. I draw a card. You draw a card. Bowmasters shoots Leovold. Shoots Leovold. I draw a card. And then, is that forced? No, it says you may draw a card. It would be interesting if you could force that. Force you draw 3 cards, I kill your Leovold. I don't know if that's good value. The Bowmaster player will have a lot of tokens. You'd also get Council's Judgment. That's right, we would get a little Council. I think the card's been power crept out of the game, though. This card was, like, very good. I don't know how. Councils. What am I spelling wrong here? Councils. Yeah, I don't know what I did wrong. Anyway, we got Council's Judgment. Not super popular anymore. It was way more popular, say, 7 or 8 years ago. That was like a premier removal spell, mostly to deal with True Name Nemesis at the time. See, they had the answers. True Name Nemesis was a problem, but they had the answers in the end. Okay, let's take a look at Blows with the Kappa Cannoneer. That will put a little pep in the coffee of the affinity decks. This is a blue 5 generic 4/4 turtle with Improvise. Your artifacts can help cast this spell. Each artifact you tap after you're done activating mana abilities pays for 1. So you could be an affinity player, just blurt your hand on the battlefield, turn sideways, Kappa Cannoneer. It's basically also a True Name Nemesis because it's a 4/4 with Ward 4, which means nothing is going to kill this. No one has 4 mana up these days. Whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, it gets bigger for +1/+1, and it cannot be blocked this turn. So, be careful. That guy's sneaky. Sneak right past everybody. Kill you super fast. Okay, next super chat coming from Abe. To combat my Ancient Tomb suggestion, give me Armageddon. It would be very interesting to see this card in Modern. Now, unlike Commander players, we don't whine about, like, well, I can't say we don't whine about the power level of cards. And certainly we don't like our lands being completely blown up. I don't think this would be received poorly in Modern. I mean, I think this would just be a card. It might help boost the Death and Taxes types of decks. It might boost... Who could use this card really, really well? Maybe just Death and Taxes. There might be some other sort of, I don't know, Restore Balance type, archetype that might be able to use this. Maybe, I'm not sure. You know, there's some interesting cards that exist. For example, there are those lands that, when destroyed, was it Mistveil Plains? Because white has access to some lands. No, this is not it. What's the one, the land, when it gets destroyed, you search your library for a plains card put onto the battlefield tapped. So, you know, you wouldn't completely blow up your entire mana base. You can also play Armageddon. Oh, there's also those artifact lands that have indestructible. You know, I think that's what Toads is getting at here. There's the indestructible artifact lands. Yeah, I was thinking of, oh, flagstones. That's what it is, flagstones. So you could combo that with Armageddon. So your opponents get completely wiped off the battlefield, but when this goes to the graveyard, you can search your library for a plains card and put it on the battlefield tapped. And you don't get hit so hard, so a combination of indestructible artifact lands and flagstones of Trocare. I think you can come out quite ahead with an Armageddon. It'd just be a one-sided Armageddon. Okay, next up, let's take a look at... What the hell is this? Jackalope Herd? Jackalope... This is a real card. We should have had Jackalopes in Thunder Junction. I don't even know what a Jackalope is. Okay, we have a 4 mana, 4/5. If you play any spell, return Jackalope Herd to its owner's hand. This is so sad, Christopher B. This is terrible. It's literally a 4 mana, 4/5 that we have to put back to our hand at will. Okay, Jay. What do you got? What do you got for us? Legolas's Quick Reflexes. That's a banger card. And it wasn't well received in Legacy. Like, I don't think it sees a whole lot of play. I think this is a modern, this is like more of a Commander All-Star. But this probably could see some play in Modern to protect creature-based decks, but most importantly to protect Infect. It's a green instance with Split Second. You won't have any time. It's over before it even started. Before you even know what happened, it's over. Untap target creature. Until end of turn, it gains Hexproof Reach, and whenever this creature becomes tapped, it deals damage equal to its power to up to 1 target creature. So it's like a removal spell. It's effectively a removal spell. So it's a removal spell, it's protection. I might even play that. Now that I think about it, why don't I play this thing? This thing's amazing. It deals damage equal to its power, which means it's not even fighting. This is this is just like a one-sided punch. It's like I sucker punch somebody. That's how quick Legolas's reflexes are. Okay, next up. You'd have to change the name, but Sonic Screwdriver would be interesting. What? Sonic Screwdriver? This is a real card? Why do you don't have to change the name, just throw it right into Modern Horizons 3. We've got the Sonic Screwdriver. It's a 3-mana artifact tap, add 1 mana of any color. You can pay 1 tap, untap another target artifact, pay 2 tap, scry 1, and pay 3 tap. Target creature can't be blocked this turn. Maybe for the Eldrazi Tron deck, maybe for another new type of Tron variant using creatures. You get a little tap, untappy action going on, and also make sure your creatures get unblockable. And also like a weird artifact ramp spell. Next up, we got Beanpot, Parallax Tide, and Chain of Vapor. You want both of them at once. Is there a particular combo? Parallax Tide and Chain of Vapor for good measure. It's Chain of Vapor. So Parallax Tide is the 4-mana enchantment. It's fading 5. Whenever a fade counter from Parallax Tide. Sorry, remove a fade counter, remove target land from the game. So it's not another like Armageddon-like card, but it will disappear afterwards. When Parallax Tide leaves play, each player returns to play all cards they own removed from the game with Parallax Tide. And so I'm guessing what Chain of Vapor can bounce this. Turn target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Ah, yes. Then that permanent's controller may sacrifice a land. If they do, he or she may copy the spell and may choose new targets for the copy. So effectively, what they want to do is, how does it work? Parallax Tide. Okay, holding priority, remove all your lands from the game. But holding priority, none of these abilities have resolved. Play Chain of Vapor on my Parallax Tide. Parallax Tide goes back to my hand. Then my Parallax Tide, remove your lands abilities resolve. I take away all your lands, and they're gone for forever because Parallax Tide is already gone. Ah, the wording of these things back then. Next up. Ulik says, Crystalline Sliver. I thought they were going to give this to us in Modern Horizons 1, in Modern Horizons 2. Like, just print the damn thing. I think it's about time we have had at least one Kindred deck that is indestructible to removal spells. You see, decks with removal, they need to feel the pain, alright? Those Solitudes, like, I know Fury is banned, but they would have felt fear with Crystalline Sliver in the metagame. So the Fatal Push is Lightning Bolt, Unholy Heat, Solitude, yeah, Crystalline Sliver, they don't care. Because all slivers have Shroud. You try to do anything to a sliver, it just bounces right. I have a bounce sound effect, don't I? Where's my bounce right off of them? Boing. There we go. You shoot, boing. And off it's gone. Shroud is fair. Hexproof is so worthless in Modern. Well, Hexproof, I think both are pretty good. I would take either if I could. VHB Master. Force of Will. Aren't you bold? I need to give up 2 cards to counter a spell. Trash, Modern playable. See, now, maybe one day they're going to do this. I don't know if today's that day, because they just printed Force of Negation. They talked about this, Force of Negation. They printed this 4 years ago. Now, they said they made Force Negation at the time because they wanted Legacy to keep its personality. Like, Force of Will is a legacy thing, and they wanted to give Modern the same type of answer, but without, you know, directly putting Force of Will into the format. That's why they made Force of Negation. Would I like to see Force of Will in the format? Absolutely. Probably the Footfall deck comes back, among other combo decks that can win at instant speed, like Living End. That is a sacrifice I'm willing to make, because at least Force of Will on my turn can counter a Force of Will that they're playing on my turn. Whereas Force Negation, I can't Force Negate a Force Negation that's happening on my turn. So that actually is a lot more fair. Force of Will makes Rhino a top tier deck. Well, here's the thing. Remember, it was a top tier deck before because they could play their combo with Force Negation backup, and our Force Negations can't counter their Force Negation because it's on our turn. But Force of Will can counter other people's Force of Will on the same turn. Dark Darashura with the White Plume Adventurer. Have you lost your damn mind? That's a no from me, that's for sure. This is a white 2 generic 3/3 Orc Cleric. Enters the battlefield. You take the initiative. You don't know that you like what? I don't know how to explain. The Undercity. You go into the Undercity. So here's the secret entrance. Not so secret. So you do whatever you need to do to get this thing on the battlefield. I'm sure a lot of people will play Gemstone Caverns to get this thing in play by turn 2. And when it enters the battlefield, you get a basic land. Then you put 2 counters on your creatures, which will make it a 5/5. Then your opponent just loses 5 life for no damn reason. Then you draw a card. The value off of this is insane. Oh, by the way, at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, untap a creature we control. If we've completed a dungeon, untap all creatures we control. This is stupid. So it also gives vigilance to the creatures. I do not want to see that. It is banned in Legacy. It's stone cold banned. Just say no to mechanics you can't interact with. Exactly. There's no counter to this stupid dungeon crap. Okay, a Blackbird. Carnival of Souls. Carnival of Souls, 2 mana enchantment. Whenever a creature comes into play, you lose 1 life and you add a black to your mana pool. That's a creative card. Oh, it's on the reserve list. Never gonna happen. Sorry. Oh, it's a reserve list card. We're done here. Okay, what else do we have? Bottomless Pit from our fellow Korean fellow. So bottomless. 3-mana enchantment. During each player's upkeep, that player discards a card at random. I can't see how it would hurt. During each player's upkeep, that player discards a card at random. So basically, don't stick onto... I mean, maybe it could help in 8-rack. It's like a Liliana the Veil that's activating every single turn regardless. Are there any other cards like this? Where it's like every single turn you have to discard. Next turn, discard. Next turn, discard. I don't think so. I don't think there's a single one. Tommy Sins attracts it. That's completely illegal. That's completely illegal already. Okay, next up, we've got Kagan with, never played Modern, so I can't probably determine what would be good for the meta. That's okay. If you're a Commander player, just ask for something you want to see. Would Clairvoyance be good? Who cares if it's good? They're going to print a bunch of cards that are useless, in addition to being good, so if you want this, go for it. It is a blue instant. Look at target player's hand. Draw a card at the beginning of the next turn's upkeep. Oh, it's like Peak. Oh, I'll tell you this much. We have Peak and it sees no play. Spelled Peak wrong. This is a Modern legal card. And it's better because you get the card immediately. 1 blue instant, look at target player's hand, draw a card. That's amazing, you know? Gitaxian Probe. This card, banned in 3 formats, restricted in 1. This card, 1 blue, unplayable. It's the exact same thing. This is at instant speed too, by the way. Instant speed, unplayable. Strictly unplayable. Very funny. Martin says, coffee crew in the evening. I love the new time schedule. Just finished work and got like 1 hour by train ahead. Thanks for the company, all. Welcome, Martin. You're welcome. Okay, we got Ian with Crackling Spellslinger. Crackling Spellslinger, a 5-mana 2/2 human wizard with flash. And when Crackling Spellslinger enters the battlefield, it's not Modern legal? Oh, so this was one of the commander cards? Okay. If you cast it, the next instant or sorcery spell you cast this turn has Storm. Oh, God! So it enters the battlefield. The very next instant or sorcery spell it's gonna have at least 2 copies because this is gonna count for the Storm of the first one. Weird. It would be a really weird include in Modern Horizons 3 since this just came out in another set. So they crash the value of this thing immediately. So weird. Chalice of the Void is a card that already exists. I don't know. Did they say they're reprinting regular cards? They might have. I don't know. In the prior sets, I think in both, with the exception of fetch lands. Like they are gonna reprint the fetch lands. I don't know if they're reprinting anything else other than the fetch lands. Almond wants Aura Shards. Is that not a Modern legal? It's not Modern legal. Very creative card. 3-mana enchantment. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may destroy target artifact or enchantment. And the more creatures you got to enter the battlefield, bam! That's another artifact. Bam! That's another enchantment. Kappa Cannoneer. Okay, sure, it can come into play. We'll just blow up everything else on the battlefield, except the Kappa Cannoneer. All right, so maybe it won't do anything about Kappa Cannoneer. All right, you heard the music. You know what that means? It's time to thank our sponsors, FusionGamingOnline.com. Oh, the Fusion Open happening this weekend, April 27th to 28th. I'm going to be there. And I might have to take advantage of the deal of the week. 35% trade-in bonus from April 22nd to April 28th. You want to support Fusion Gaming? You got to sell them your cards. That's one way of doing it. The other way of doing it is buying cards, like from the latest sets, Outlaws of Thunder Junction. Improve your decks. I got to improve my Pioneer decks. You know, I got to upgrade them. They got to get bigger and better. And I'm going to use coupon code Nikachu when I do that to get 5% off all my purchases. We're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place for renting Magic cards online. Outlaws of Thunder Junction have come out. Now, are any of those cards good for your decks? You may not know until you try them out, but you don't want to buy them. You don't want to buy them online. You don't want to buy them anywhere until you can figure it out. That's why you rent them online. And when you rent them, you figure out if it's good enough to buy for good. You can support the channel using my Managed Traders link in the description below or save 10% off for your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu_FL0. Alright, what do we got next? You silly gooses. Henlo with Sandworm Convergence. The hell is this? It's an 8-mana enchantment. Creatures with flying can't attack you. It's already legal, actually. Alright. You want that in Modern? It's already legal in Modern. It was never illegal. Okay, do we have another one? Oh, my PM with Chill. You have chosen violence today, my friend. You have chosen violence, but I like what you're thinking. Red, it's a blue 1 generic. Red spells cost 2 more to play. Sorry, Prowess players. You be screwed. Prowess players don't want to see this. Burn players don't want to see this. What else do they not want? There's a lot of things they don't want to see. This is backbreaking for those red decks. Doesn't see that much play anymore. Deserves to make a comeback. Deserves to be in Modern. Okay, next up, let's take a super chat. Like, ooh, Teferi's Protection. Teferi's Protection is not a Modern legal card. It is a 3-mana instant. Until your next turn, your life total can change, and you gain protection from everything. All permanents you control phase out, and you exile Teferi's Protection. Okay, next up, let's take a look at... How about Days? Ooh. That's a hard one. I mean, you want it, okay. It's a blue 1 generic instant. You can return an island you control to its owner's hand rather than pay Days' mana cost. Carry target spell unless its controller pays 1. Now, the controversy with this card would be, would it be fair? It's banned in Pauper, and maybe people who don't know, it is a highly contested in Legacy. A lot of people in Legacy actually think that this is the reason, this is the main reason Delver decks are so strong in Legacy, and that this card should be banned. You know, people have been banning like Ragavan and Ren and 6 and all these. They think the glue holding the whole Delver deck together is Days, because you cheaply counter stuff. They only have access to like 1 to 2 mana at any given time, and when you like bounce, say, an island back on, you know, like a land back to your hand, you can then use Brainstorm to put it back on top of your library and shuffle it away for like full new cards. Very, very strong. It's hard to tell if it would be fair in Modern, given the fact that it's banned in Pauper and arguably unfair in Legacy. Okay, next super chats. Okay, we have some big super chats I have to get to. Dark Star Ashura, where you have the Gatelands from Baldur's Gate, like the Gaunt Gate. You want the Gatelands. They enter the battlefield untapped. Gates you control enter the battlefield untapped. When you tap, add 1 mana of any color that gate you control could produce. Sure. Why not? Why not? Oh, these were Commander products. That's why they're not in... I was like wondering, why aren't these in Modern? It's not broken or anything. In fact, it'll help gates. And if you want to put a bunch of gates in your deck, you don't have Gone Gates, then you're probably going to screw yourself anyway. Okay, next up. Alex Gibson. You're not the only one who hasn't got a card. Haven't got a card yet. I don't know anything about Modern. What could go wrong with adding Brutaclad Telchor Engine? Probably nothing. The 6-mana 4/4 Artificer creature tokens you control, they have haste. And at the beginning of combat on your turn, create a 2/1 blue mirror artifact creature token. Then you may choose a token you control, and if you do, each other token you control becomes a copy of that token. Completely legitimate card. Mana short? Why? It's like, it's 3 mana instant, tap all lands target player controls and empty their mana pool. Does it have like an errata? Tap all lands target player controls and that player loses all unspent mana. Like, in response, I will just use my lands, you know? I'll tap it and add mana. It seems like that would work. Alright, Majra, what do you got for us? I would love to see one of my creation be legal in Modern. Oh, God. LOL. But since I don't work at Wizards of the Coast, hey, all you have to do is be friends with, you know, Mark Rosewater. Maybe it'll happen. I'll just take Abjure and Paralyze. You want Abjure and Paralyze instead. Now, this is a blue interrupt. Sacrifice a blue permanent, counter target spell. That's legit. I bet affinity decks... Oh, no, you have to sacrifice a blue permanent. Maybe still affinity decks would play this. They have some blue permanents. And then Paralyze. The enchanted creature for 1 mana. I don't know what Paralyze has to do with this. Is it like Spiderweb? Oh, I guess they're paralyzed somehow. There's spiderwebs growing on them. When Paralyze enters the battlefield, tap enchanted creature. Enchanted creature does an untap during its controller's untap step, and at the beginning of the upkeep of enchanted creature's controller, the player may pay for, and if they do, untap the creature. Your pool would be emptied regardless if you tap the lands in response. Well, if I use the mana before mana short resolves, I'll get to use the mana. That's how it would work. Old boy with Lotus Petal. Have you lost your mind? You know, we banned... I actually disagree. Like, we banned Simian Spirit Guide. Simian Spirit Guide is like a worse version of Lotus Petal. I think? Maybe not? I mean, there's some niche differences. Like, you can't just hold Lotus Petal in hand and use it whenever you want. Like, you have to play it, and then, I mean, if there's, like, a Chalice on 0, then it'll get countered. If there's anything, like, there's a Collector Roof, you can't use it. So there's like a little bit of room, but this, like, adds mana of any color. I don't think this is going to be seen, but, hey, maybe anything is possible. Midi Owl with a fortified area. All walls you control gain banding and get +1/+0. We have Kai here. Black Lotus. No, probably not happening. Skeletal Scrying. There's no way it's Skeletal Scrying. That has to be a card that already exists. Oh, it's not? How the hell is this not modern legal? It's a black X instant. As an additional cost to cast Skeletal Scrying, exile X cards from your graveyard. You draw X cards and you lose X life. Yeah, I think this would be a really cool card. I think there's a lot of people that would love to play this thing. Especially, you know, might be interested in any Shieldred deck where, you know, you're going to lose the life or you're going to gain the life back anyway. Then, and plus some because of Shieldred's plus ability. Okay, next up, we have the Super Chat. Another Super Chat from Kagan. I was looking at Snow Stuff, and apparently, Arkham's Astrolabe is banned in Modern. It doesn't seem super strong. Well, you had to be there to understand it, Kagan. You had to be there. Long story short, it enabled artifact strategies because it was like 1 mana artifact that cantripped. You could blink this thing. It also fixed your mana base really, really well because like any random lands you had on your battlefield. So let's get Arkham's Astrolabe. Arkham's Astrolabe. Yeah, I mean, it was really mana efficient, and you might be surprised that it's banned in Modern. It's banned everywhere. It's banned in Pauper. It's banned in Modern. It's banned in Legacy. It's weird. I think there was another card that did the same thing, but it didn't have the ETB card draw. You just add ETB card draw, and then it becomes broken. That's so weird, huh? Weird how Magic works like that. Fabricio, Dualcaster Mage. Sure. Copy Storm cards. Well, not so many people play Storm cards, but they do play counterspells. This is a 3 mana 2/2. It's got Flash. And when it enters the battlefield, copy target instant or sorcery spell, and you may choose new targets for the copy. You got counterspell? Well, I counterspell your counterspell. I mean, basically turns Dualcaster Mage into counterspells to counterspells. Whatever! What a name to be suggesting back to basics. The opponent freaks out. My god, that thing's broken. Well, whatever. 3 mana enchantment. Non-basic lands don't untap during their controller's untap steps. This would be an amazing card to actually print into Modern. I don't know if they have the goal to do it. This would put a huge beating on the Amulet deck, the Tron decks. Basically, you know, In Legacy, lands are kept in check with Wasteland. We do not have Wasteland in Modern. This would be a very interesting include in order to, you know, like the Surveil lands, any deck playing the 4-color Omnath decks. You want to bring balance to the format, you might be able to do it with Back to Basics. Now, the downside is that Blue-White Control can easily use this and just put a bunch of basic lands in play. Is that a sacrifice we're willing to make? Maybe it is. But for anyone who's not a fan of Omnath, not a fan of all the Surveil lands, these greedy mana bases, like, you gotta keep it in check with something. We have nothing. We're basic, like, we have Blood Moon, but Blood Moon is not even that effective because the colorless mana is still playable. Who knows? Maybe this wouldn't even do that much. We have so many answers to enchantments. Okay, next up we've got Kagan, another Kagan special here. Since they're bringing in Snow Wastes, I'll name my favorite goofy snow stuff. Arctic Foxes. Okay, what do you got here? You got Arctic Foxes. Arkham's Weather Vane. And Arkham's Sleigh. I think I've seen these cards here and there throughout the history of this show. What is this? Like, it's a 1-mana artifact. You can get it with Urza Saga. Pay 2, tap. Attacking this turn does not cause target creature to tap. You cannot use this ability if defending player controls no snow-covered lands. Also, we have the Arkham's Weather Vane, a 2-mana artifact. Pay 2, tap. Target snow-covered land becomes a non-snow-covered land of the same type. Mark the changed land with a counter. You lost your snow. Also, pay 2, tap. Target snow-covered basic land becomes snow-covered land of the same type. And we've got the Arctic... Aw, it's the Arctic Foxes. A 2-mana 1/1. If defending player controls any snow-covered lands, no creature with power greater than 1 may be assigned to block Arctic Foxes. What? If a player controls any snow-covered lands? Is this like snow hate? Like, you're getting punished for playing a snow land around here? That's so weird. Okay, next up, Nicholas with Archivist of Ogama. Oops. It's writing on. Oh, there we go. Archivist of. Sorry. Ogma? I may not be pronouncing this right very well. Okay, we got a flash 2/2 creature for 2 mana, and whenever an opponent searches their library, you gain 1 life and you draw a card. That is cool! So, it is like, it's like Containment Priest plus Bowmasters. So you want to draw, oh no, but it's not, no, sorry, it's not Bowmasters, if you search your library. This card is insane! This card, when did they print this thing? Battle for Baldur's Gate. It's been out for a while. Holy smokes. So basically putting pressure on fetch lands. You want to fetch for the Triomes, the Surveil lands. Well, now we have Archivist of Ogma. And, okay, you crack a fetch land, I draw a card. I'm totally fine with that. Also gain 1 life. You lose 1 life, I gain 1 life. I like how this deal is working out here. Your pain is my gain. Yeah, it is EDH Dave. I didn't know this card existed. This is a very interesting card. I never even saw it in Legacy. I mean, maybe there's probably some Death and Taxes deck that plays it here. I think this would be a really cool include in Modern. I think it'd be a really cool include. Not the Zilla. How about Windfall? Windfall! Sorcery! Oh, it's funny. This card's banned in Legacy. Maybe it would get banned in Modern too. Each player discards their hand, then draws cards equal to the greatest number of cards that the player discard this way. Can Dredge break the hell out of this card? Probably. Like, probably. I bet Dredge would just get up to 3 mana with 5 cards in hand, discard, and then drawing 5 would make them dredge like 5 times with 5 dredge creatures. It would probably break the format. It would probably be broken. You'd probably end up taking at least 12 damage from Creeping Chills. I bet they'd get through their entire library pretty comfortably. Would not be hard. Would not be hard in my opinion. Okay, next super chat, we've got Black Market Connections. Could be interesting, you say. 3-mana enchantment. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, you get to choose one or more. You get to create a treasure token, but you're gonna have to lose 1 life. You can draw a card and lose even more life, or create a 3/2 colorless shapeshifter creature token and lose 3 life. Man, it's painful to, you know, these connections are very painful. You gotta choose your friends wisely. I don't know if I'm understanding the rules of the show, but I want Dark Steel Plate reprinted. Dark Steel Plate. It's legal in Modern, so... So it could be a commander card you want to see, but it cannot already be legal in Modern, because generally speaking... there are some exceptions, like the fetch lands, but generally speaking, they only reprint new cards into Modern. Everything is new. Nothing is like a card. Or they're reprints from... I think they reprinted former... Modern Horizons cards before. Like, I think they reprinted, like, Force of Negation and Ren and 6. So that's, like, also in their wheelhouse. Yeah, Toads, Mental Misstep is already banned. It's banned already. It's banned. Okay, I don't know if David got a card yet. Synth? Eradicator. We got the 3-mana 3/3 Synth Soldier. It's like, this is a new card, came from Fallout. But because it's those commander sets, like, they don't see legality into Modern. They gotta be printed in Standard, baby. Haste. When it attacks, exile the top card of your library. You may get double energy. If you don't, you may play that card this turn. Also, tap, pay triple energy. Deals 3 damage to any target. I have no idea how you would make this card work very well, because it's like, it's still an energy card. Energy is energy. You gotta play them crappy energy cards in order to make use out of this. Okay, I'm gonna go through the super chats. If anyone got sniped or something, we'll donate it to the crowd. King Ginger with repercussions. Sorry, repercussions. Made pyrohemia viable. Is it oh, sorry. I spelled repercussions. There we go. 3-mana enchantment in red. Whenever a creature is dealt damage, deals that much damage to that creature's controller. So you wanna hit me? Don't be hitting yourself. Yeah, that could totally work. Bacon Kappa, reprint the OG duels, you cowards. They are an OP. What do you want? Like Tropical Island? Unfortunately, part of the reserve list. Part of the reserve list. Okay, with that, because that's a illegal suggestion, we'll give that one to the crowd. You didn't get one yet, Bacon Kappa. Brainstorm. Oh, you've lost your damn mind. F it. He's F it, Bacon Catbug says. Blue instant. Draw 3 cards, then put 2 cards from your hand on top of your library in any order. You know, they've debated. I mean, debate is a strong word. This is like a card everyone knows is supremely busted in Legacy. It's like it's effectively Ancestral Recall, but you know it's been institutionalized in the format for so long. Then like you know they're not getting rid of it. To put this into Modern would be insane, especially since we do have the cantrips. I do think I would like to see Ponder taken off the ban list. I'm not sure I would feel as comfortable seeing Brainstorm. But you know what? Maybe there would be a day. Maybe there would be a day that we could have this thing. Maybe there would be a day. Okay, King Ginger. With Jared Carthalion. The True Heir. And other Monarch cards. You want Monarch in the game? I guess it'd be okay. 3-mana 3/3 Human Warrior. When enters the battlefield, target opponent becomes the Monarch. You can't become the Monarch this turn. If damage would be dealt to Jared while you're the Monarch, prevent that damage and put that many +1/+1 counters on it. That's totally fair. Kagan also with, what about Lizelle? What about Lizelle? The champion? Is this your champion? The 3-mana 3/3 Gith Warrior. If you would put one or more counters on target creature or planeswalker you control, or on yourself, put that many +1 of those each of those counters on that permanent or player instead. Choose a background. Probably you could easily print this in the modern. Maybe a green-white Hardened Scales deck would make some use out of this, but playing this thing on turn 3 sounds a bit awkward. They want to play most of their spells on like turn 1 or turn 2. And especially this type of card, you know, to enable things like Arcbound Ravager and Hangerback Walker. It is ideal that this thing comes out before the other things do. So for 3 mana, it's a bit expensive. Completely fine. Especially since you cannot use the commander part of this card in Modern. Because we don't have commanders. It doesn't exist. Crowcore Games. Thoughts on Time Reaper? Time Reaper, the 5-mana 4/4 alien. Ew. Flying and with haste. Consume Anomaly. Whenever Time Reaper deals combat damage to a player, put target face-up card they own in exile on the bottom of their library. If you do, you gain 3 life. Sure. I have no idea how you could break this card. It's just it's just like a nice 5-mana card. You realize you're dead in 5 turns, right? Deals combat damage, put target face-up card they own in exile on the bottom of their life. I have actually no idea what you're going to do with this thing. It's not even expensive, but you want it in Modern anyway. Get the hell out of here. Okay, next up. Steve Cooper with the donation. You don't play Modern, but you do play Commander. You can still offer things. Tinker! If that's okay, Tinker, people have lost your damn minds. If it's not good enough for Oathbreaker or Commander, restricted in Vintage, and supremely banned in Modern, you think it would even stand a chance of being fair in? Sorry, it doesn't seem to play in Legacy because it's banned. Do you think it would stand a chance of being fair in Modern? I don't think so. Looks terrible. Okay, La Turot with Rick. The Steadfast Leader. Didn't they rename this thing? So it's now the Greymond Avacyn Stalwart. It's the same thing. It's a 4-mana 3/4 human soldier. And when it enters the battlefield, choose 2 abilities from First Strike, Vigilance, and Lifelink. Humans you control have each of the chosen abilities. And as long as you control 4 or more humans you control get +2. +2. Behold. Eco says, Tinker at the Blightsteel with an active enchantment that gives haste. Yeah, pretty busted. Not to mention you can get, like, you know, you can still get Bolus's Citadel and all those other cards. Oh, are we still talking about Tinker here? We'll go back to Tinker. It's a 3-mana card sorcery. Seem balanced enough for me, LOL. Yeah, that was a nice joke over there. Anyone want to join the circus here? Someone want to find me a comedy club? Your bad luck, Nikachu. My entire home network just disintegrated. Well, we gotta get the bad luck out of the way for the good luck to come in the future. Toilet Duck wants Space Bellerin. If for no other reason than to just cause judge calls of the WTF, this player has an uncard in their deck variety. But it's not really an uncard. If you want to really screw with people in Modern, put some sticker card in Modern. That will screw with them. There are a lot of legal sticker cards. I saw quite a few sticker... I don't know if they were playing a sticker deck, but I was just in the NRG series Legacy trial over the weekend, and there were stickers in the room, I'll tell you that. I don't know if they were really using the stickers, but you can bluff that you're playing a sticker deck with stickers. Anyone else not get a card yet? Who didn't get a card? I don't know if Uber Tuna got a card. Pyrokinesis. Sorry, Pyrokinesis. So this is like, yeah, it's Fury without the body. That would be fair, probably. I mean, the whole... was oops. Oh, I see what I'm spelling this wrong. Pyrokinesis. Yeah, it's Fury without, like, the Fury body. I think this would be totally fair. I think this is fair game. I think that's what they were trying to do. They didn't realize, well, maybe it's a bit broken if we put it on a 3/3 double striking creature. They can bash your face in for 1 billion damage. Anyway, you can exile a red card from your hand rather than pay the card's mana cost, and you deal 4 damage, divided as you choose among any number of target creatures. Basically the same damn thing. Can't have humility. It's a reserve list card. That's a problem. Sorry about that one. Okay, back to the super chats. We've got Kagan with the Caribou range. You gotta see, I have a lot of range with them Caribous. Why is it called Caribou range? Are they getting hunted? It's a 4-mana enchantment. Enchant land you control. Enchant land as double white. Tap, put a 0/1 white caribou creature token into play. Sacrifice caribou. Oh, you get a whole 1 life. Oh, you killed a caribou for 1 life. 1 life point. You monster. I would sacrifice 1 life so I can have an extra caribou in this world. Darkstar Ashura, would you as a Merfolk player enjoy Hull Breacher? Honestly, no. I played with this card in Legacy quite a few times. It's hard to use. Like, you have 3 mana up, people just play around it. They're just like, okay, I just won't draw any cards while I have 3 mana up. It's a 3 mana 3/2 Merfolk Pirate with Flash. And if an opponent would draw a card, except the first one they draw in each of their draw steps, instead, you create a treasure token. And yeah, so they don't get to draw cards, and we get treasures. It's just too easy to play around. I can't force anything out of this card, unfortunately. So if they printed this, probably I don't play it. There was one matchup where I found this card was very good, and that was like Elves. Because if they play something like Glimpse of Nature or start looping their, the Elf, the ETB, draw a card, if they loop that, like that just hard turned it all off. And actually, drawing cards in the Elf deck is quite important to their engine. Hunter Strong, a Stifle! Okay, I thought they would print Stifle in Modern Horizons 1. I thought they would print Stifle in Modern Horizons 2. I still think that they should print Stifle in Modern Horizons 3. Like, what the hell? Why is it taking so long for this thing to get printed? What is wrong? Were they afraid of people like stifling fetch lines? Would that even be a bad thing at this point? Again, like, there should be some balance to I think triggered and activated abilities just run completely free in Modern to, like, crazy extents. And I think Stifle would be a fantastic card to have in the format. Really, really, really nice. Jack also wants Invigorate in the format. Yeah, we talked about Invigorate earlier. Raptor saw in half. Need a chainsaw sound effect. Okay, the 3-mana instant. Destroy target creature. And if that creature dies this way, its controller gets 2 tokens that are copies of that creature. Except their base power is half that creature's power, and their base toughness is half that creature's toughness. Round up each time. Don't do it to Primeval Titan. You might screw yourself. 2 3/3s that look up 2 lands at the same time. If you had $1 million, what would you do, man? I'd tell you what I'd do, man. 2 lands at the same time, man. Eco Sphere of Resistance. Makes Modern slower. That's a very interesting include. It's not on the reserve list. It's not Modern legal. And you got something going there, actually. You would make Modern a lot slower. It's a prison effect that probably the format could even use. So it's a 2-mana artifact. Spells just cost 1 more to cast. That's it. All right, so if you're 2 mana efficient or you're playing things for free, it would put a little bit more of a hurt on Cascade decks. It's like, yeah, so it would hit Cascade. It would hit, like, cantrip heavy decks, like maybe Murktide decks. What else would it hit? Of course, it would make, like, certain clunky decks even be more clunky than they were in the first place. I like it. It's a really good idea. You want Artificer class? Artificer. I swear this is already legal. Oh, it's not. How is this not legal in Modern? Okay, 2 mana. The first artifact spell you cast each turn costs 1 less to cast, so it's pretty cheap. And then we have level 2 for 2 mana. When it becomes level 2, reveal the cards on the top of your library until you reveal an artifact card. Put it into your hand, put the rest on the bottom in a random order. Then for 6 mana, at the beginning of your end step, create a token that's a copy of target artifact you control. So, I don't know. I mean, yeah, you could have it. I don't think it's broken or anything. Oh, the Sphere of Resistance? Yeah, it would make the evokes cost 1 more, which probably is not that big of a deal. If they want to play them for free, then whatever, they just pay 1 mana. Ecos with Opposition Agent. Oh, what about Opposition Agent? Interesting idea, because this is 3 mana. It's not too expensive. The 3/2 flash creature, and you control opponents while they search their libraries. And if the opponent is searching their library, they exile each card they find, and you may play those cards for as long as they remain exiled. You can spend mana as though remaining any mana to, of any color to cast them. You can play people's lands, right? I think that's what you may play those cards. It doesn't say cast. You may play, and if you can play cards, you can play lands. You can play lands, you steal their lands. How you feel about Dockside? You could do it. I mean, it would do nothing. Like, if this was legal, no one would play it, honestly. That sounds really strange, but this card is just stupid. Like, this card actually has no power in Modern. There's not that many artifacts people have access to, like, on the earlier stages of the game. It's literally just a 2 mana 1/2 that might make 1 treasure token, and that's it. It's actually quite pathetic. So, like, if Commander players are looking for a Dockside Extortionist reprint, that maybe Modern Horizons 3 could be it for you. You know, it could be it for you. Maybe that's what you want. Oh, Mana Drain. Mana Drain is banned in Legacy. Power Sync is... Pretty sure there's a lot of Power Sync cards. Like, Power Sync might not be legal. It's not legal in Modern, but there's, like, a lot of Power Sync cards. Like Condescend, for example. It's basically the same thing. Okay, Show and Tell, the more fixed Tinker. You've got to be kidding me. You know, why don't you just play Legacy? Ecos, why don't you just play Legacy? That sounds like what you want to do. You just want to play Legacy and Modern. You want to have, like, 2 Legacy nights a week. Okay, the 3 mana sorcery. Each player may put an artifact, creature, enchantment, or land card from their hand onto the battlefield. It would be, honestly, I think it would be interesting. There's a lot of counter cards to this card. Like, I mean, like, your opponent might side in a bunch. I imagine this. Yeah, I mean, your opponents could side in Emrakuls and stuff. Think of it that way. You know, all of a sudden, you could have, like, 4 Emrakuls in your sideboard for the mill decks. And then all of a sudden, you could also bring in the Emrakuls for the Show and Tell decks. They go Show and Tell, you put Emrakul, the Iron Storm in play, and they're like, oh, shiitake mushrooms. Oh, shiitake mushrooms. Anyway, okay. Crowcore Games, Decaying Time Loop. Too strong? Don't play Modern. I've never heard of this card, so... Maybe it's a strong commander card? 4 mana instant, discard all of the cards in your hand, then draw that many cards. It's got Retrace. I think it's okay. Yeah, I think this could see play in the right circumstances. I don't think it would break. I don't think it would break anything. Cloud Post is legal. It's banned. Completely banned. Tyler Smith, Temple Cycle downshift to uncommon for draft fixing seems like it would be possible with the Surveil lands being strictly better. That's possible. Ooh, this is a great suggestion. The Price of Progress. I thought they would give that to us in Modern Horizons 2. I really thought they would. So some people say, well, it would make burn like broken. Is that a bad thing? So Price of Progress is a 2 mana instant, and it will deal 2 damage to, well, basically if you're a non-basic land player. For twice the number of non-basic lands that player that controls. Sorry, I might have worded that poorly. It deals 2 damage for each non-basic land you control. Or sorry, the opponent's control. Okay, maybe I should explain exact. Price of Progress deals damage to each player equal to twice the number of non-basic lands that player controls. So yourself, your opponents, they're going to get dealt 2 damage for each non-basic they have, which in generally would be insane. You know, like you look at how many non-basics those Omnath decks have, the Tron decks, the oh my god, the Amulet. What would Amulet do? You know, Amulet with like a bunch of lands on the battlefield. All right, Prize of Progress, you're dead. Amulet wouldn't go into retirement or anything, but they would know that Amulet used to enjoy a good burn matchup because they could put like the Radiant Fountain in play, then bounce it back to their hand with the Karoo land, replay it, gain a bunch of. They were like gaining life like crazy, but now they wouldn't be able to survive a Price of Progress. Okay, next up, King Ginger's Angel's Trumpet. The trumpet, you say? I don't know what this card does. 3 mana. Attacking doesn't cause creatures to tap, so everything has vigilance. At the end of each player's turn, tap all untapped creatures they control that did not attack this turn. Angel's Trumpet deals 1 damage to that player for each creature tapped this way. Interesting. I think it would be totally fine. Oh! I like that one, the Caper. True Name Nemesis. A lot of people knee-jerk react think that this card is too broken. I don't think so. This card sees almost no play now in Legacy. That's how bad this card is. And also, like, decks are just so proactive and fast, they just completely ignore True Nemesis even exists. Like, they don't even care. Who would win? This merfolk, like, holding a dagger, or... What's going on in, like, or a gigantic Murktide. Like, Murktide just flies over this thing and does not care. In addition to Dragon Rage Chandler and a billion other threats. So I would like to see this reprinted, and I don't think it would rock the format all that much at all. Oh, you want to see Food Chain. Food Chain. Interesting idea, Will of Darkness. Food Chain. The 3 mana enchantment. Exile creature you control. Add X to your mana pool. Sorry, add X mana of any one color where X is 1 plus the exiled creature's mana value. Spend its mana only to cast creature spells. And we do have, what's it called? Mist Hollow Griffin, I think? Yeah, it's Mist Hollow Griffin. That is legal in Modern, so that combo would be completely online. You can cast Mist Hollow Griffin from exile for infinite mana. Wasn't True Name banned in Modern? Thought it was MH1. No, it was not banned. It's just never been legal. It's one of those Commander set products that never got printed into Modern. Bacon Cat Bug, Soul Ring. You've got to be out of your mind. Because Modern is slow. Soul Ring. Let's see if we can get a regular looking Soul Ring. There we go. Here's a regular looking Soul Ring. Busted. Would be banned instantly. Completely banned instantly. Banned upon arrival. Ulmond wants Aura Mutation. Aura Mutation. 2 mana instant. Destroy target enchantment. Oh, and you get X 1/1 Saprolings. Where X is the enchantment's mana value. Cool. Oh yeah, your Soul Ring never gets reprinted. Well, it gets reprinted a million times. It's just not printed into a Modern legal set. When it's reprinted, it's printed directly into Commander. Okay, Ian with Pox Walkers? Is that a card? Oh! From the 40k set. 3 mana, 3/1 Death Toucher. Curse of the Walking Pox. Whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, return Poxwalkers from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. You want Icrid? Are you just trying to, like, bring Dredge from... You seem to want all the old Legacy combos directly into Modern Turiad. You want Mind Desire plus High Tide. That's insane. Shaper Savant with Cabal Ritual. Interesting idea, especially since this is on the same, like, somewhat of the same power level as Desperate Ritual. So it's 2 mana. It's a black, 1 generic to add 3 black. But if you have Threshold, so 7 cards in a graveyard, you get actually a ton of mana. You get 5 mana instead. Toilet Deck says Cryptic Spires. Cryptic Spires. Let's have writing / drawing on cards be a game mechanic. What could possibly go wrong? No, no, no. This is legal in Legacy? What the hell? If I play this in Legacy, what happens? As you create your deck, circle 2, add... Enters the battlefield tapped. Add 1 mana of either of the circled colors. I'm gonna play a Legacy deck with this and see what happens when I get there. Ooh, the Caper Goblin Lackey. Now, we heard how Ragavan apparently is a must-kill creature on sight. Well, what about Goblin Lackey? For a red, it's a 1/1 goblin. It deals damage to a player. You can put a goblin permanent card from your hand onto the battlefield. But here's the kicker. I don't think Muxus is legal. Muxus, I don't think is legal in Modern. Let me look it up. Let's look up it is not. So you actually have Goblin Lackey, and you don't have any insane payoff. Or nothing too broken, at least. So you could... I think Goblin Lackey actually might be fine. I think it might be fine. It's not Modern legal. See, like hardly... It doesn't seem much or any play in... does it see play in Legacy? I can't remember if it was in the new versions of Legacy. Really good idea. Old boy with Wirewood Symbiote. Basically throw the elf decks a bone. Wirewood. It's called yeah, Wirewood Symbiote. Green 1/1 insect. If you return an elf you control back to your hand, untap target creature, activate this ability only once each turn. I think this is perfectly fine as well. You know, one of the ideas with this is to return the Elvish Visionary back to your hand, to replay it to draw a card and get value, but now it just gets stomped by like Bowmasters. And this card would also get stomped by Bowmasters. 1 toughness in Modern? Are you kidding me? No, there's no chance this would even be survive. It would be dead on arrival. Cole with Orm's Chant. Yeah, you could bring this in. That would be a cool card. Maybe help the combo decks. Because combo decks are just stone cold dead right now. I mean, they're gone. They're almost extinct at this point. So if you want to help them with Orm's Chant, target player can't play spells this turn. If it's kicked, they can't even attack this turn either. So it's like a way of, I play this card. You have a response? You want to counter this? Because if you don't, I'm going off. Uber Tuna says, Muxus should also be illegal. It'd be interesting if you had both Muxus and Goblin Lackey. I would be I would feel very confident if you'd have one without the other. If you have both, I have no idea. Like, maybe. Hunter Strong with the super chat. This is a great one. Snuff Out. Snuff Out is a great idea. So it's a black 3 generic instant. If you control a swamp, you can pay you may pay 4 life rather than pay Snuff Out's mana cost. To destroy target non-black creature, it can't be regenerated. This is a very interesting removal spell because it is it's free, but it doesn't hit everything. All right, you can't be hitting Death Shadows. You can't hit like, well, I want to say Vein Ripper, but like that's not too popular. It's not popular enough yet. So yeah, it blanks on Death Shadow. I don't really want to say girl. Are there any big black creatures in like the format right now? I don't think so. I'm not entirely sure. What the hell's out there? Street Wraith. Maybe that Swamp Walking one. So it doesn't hit everything, but it actually does mostly hit almost everything anyway. Anyway, I like that suggestion. Could be another type of card in the format. Can't remember. Christopher B. Do you have one? You want? Oh, Christopher B. used to be known for plugging a lot of cards all at once, maybe one at a time, and filling the chat out. Now being a little creative, filling up as much as he can in one shot. Let's look at Wormog. Is this a set? I can't tell. Wormog. Oh, sorry, it's Wernog maybe. Oh, it's Vernog. 2 mana, 1/2 human. Yeah, it's not Modern legal. When it enters or leaves the battlefield, each opponent may investigate, and each opponent who doesn't loses 1 life. You investigate X times, where X is 1 plus the number of opponents who investigated this way, and it has friends forever. You can have 2 commanders if they have friends forever. I think this would be perfectly fine in Modern, especially since you're not even allowed to use the investigate part of this. So you only get like half the card anyway. Crowcore Games, thank you so much for your super chat. Discord. Literally, there's a card called Discord. Discord Lord of Disharmony. It's not even a real card. I want his reaction. Also, quick note on Crypt expires in Commander. It's colorless until you circle its colors. Well, I don't think it works like that in... I don't think it works like that in Legacy. Discord, Lord of Disharmony, the 4-mana Chimera with flying. It's a 3/5 creature. At the beginning of your end step, choose a random non-land magic card name. Until your next end step, you may cast a copy of the spell with that name, and mana of any type can be spent to cast it. If you cast a spell this way, copy this ability if Discord is on the battlefield. What the hell? Oh, what fun is there in making sense? Alrighty then. Cole says Psychotog. You know what, Psychotog? They're not going to reprint it because they're actually printing a far superior Psychotog. What was it called? Something Frog. Yeah, Psychic Frog. This is the Psychotog. Alright? Psychotog, it's crap. This card looks broken to me. This is an official Modern Horizons 3 card coming out, alright? This card is bonkers. It's 2 mana, not 3. It's a 1/2. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker, you draw a card. And discard a card to put a +1/+1 counter on Psychic Frog. Exile 3 cards from your graveyard to get flying. So you're more likely to fly over your opponent, deal damage, and draw a card. And it puts the counter on it, so he gets bigger progressively. You get like 2 mana, Psychic Frog, dump your hand, attack. Like, I don't know. Did they playtest this thing properly? So did anyone playtest this card properly? It better be safe. This looks like I look at this like this is going to be the next Ragavan. Because Ragavan was broken, all right? We all know it's broken. Completely insane. I think this is in the same vein of Ragavan. I think this is like Ragavan 2.0. This is like you kill this thing or it kills you. You're going to be very unhappy about playing against it. What else do we have here? Gleemax, because no one can generate... Yeah, that's not a real... That is not a real suggestion. Oh, Shaper Savant with Veteran Explorer. I think we could have this one. Yeah. This is a green 1/1 human soldier scout, and when it dies, each player can search their library for up to 2 basic land cards, put them onto the battlefield. Then each player who searches their library this way shuffles it. What's really interesting is some decks don't even have that many basic lands. So after like one use of this Veteran Explorer, they might have as many basic lands as they could possibly have. And then if you kill another Veteran Explorer, you're the only one ramping, not them. Ooh, Avatar Woe, I don't think got one. Bloodspore Thrinax. We got a 4-mana 2/2 Lizard. Lizard? Devour 1. And then each other creature you control enters the battlefield with an additional X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is the number of +1/+1 counters on Bloodspore Thrinax. For 4 mana, sure. Wheel of Fortune, not a chance. Also, it's reserve list. Reserve list, no go. Not a chance. Hold on, I think I saw Natural Order. That's another interesting one. It's possible. I really don't want to put it outside the realm of possibility. If you counter it, it's screwed. We got a lot of artifacts that prevent this, like, for example, Grafdigger's Cage. So it's a 4-mana sorcery. As an additional cost to cast Natural Order, you gotta sack a green creature, search your library for a green creature card, put it onto the battlefield and shuffle. The biggest problem with this card is, like, you can easily just get Atraxa, so that's, like, the best thing. It is banned in a lot of places. It's banned in, but like these are more casual formats. Like in Legacy, it's not that dangerous. Yogg starts playing, yeah, exactly. That's exactly what would happen. Yogg would probably start playing this with 1 Atraxa in their deck, not caring. Nikachu, you do realize Discord can cast everything in the show. So, well, I didn't say it was like fair. I just read your card and then moved on. Your card's not even real, or it's like real in, I don't know, Wizards of the Coastland or something. Okay, and that'll be it. Okay, I think there was a lot of cool suggestions here. It's a very interesting, and who knows? Remember, we're not making any predictions. This is just what we want to see coming in Modern Horizons 3. But at the same time, we're sort of predicting it as well. Anyway, if you want to be part of the show, you got to be here 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thanks everyone who supports the show. If you're a patron on Patreon, a member on YouTube, or you support the show with Super Chats. You Super Chat to be part of the show, or Super Chat for other people to be part of the show. And thank you everyone, the coffee crew who's here every single day. We've got, we have Alvanek. I love Neck, and Toilet Duck. Not the Zilla, David Sampson. Shaper Savant, Christopher B. Toads. Belafontes, Cole, Steve Cooper, J Hogue, Avatar of Woe. Old Boy Uber, Tuna, Crowcore Games, Jazz, and Kano, because you guys are the crew who makes the show what it is every single day. So as usual, my crew, keep up brewing those coffees, and we'll keep brewing up the magic. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you at the next cup.